Hugh McGarity. Hugh played piano. He also played trombone left-handedly. He turned the trombone upside down, played the slide with his left hand. So all three of the McGarritys played trombone later because of Lewis going. But Hugh studied under Hugh Hodgson, who was head of the music department of Georgia, and he got his bachelor's and his master's there, and then he goes to Florida State, which had a tremendous music program, and got his PhD there. Then he took the job as head of the music department at Clemson College. He also wrote their alma mater, and after he retired, he went with the Miles Davis orchestras out of Washington, D.C., and played, and that was the happiest time of his life because that's what he really had been wanting to do. Stu played with the Georgia Bulldog Orchestra, and Warren Little, who was the principal flautist at the Atlanta Symphony at a later date, had a group and called Warren Little and his orchestra, and he played saxophone, but he played flute in the Little Symphony. So we played in the pit at Fine Arts because the Kiwanis Club had a guy from New York come down to do this musical. It had all local people, and that's where I first met Stu, and we played a lot over 35 or 40 years after that. But Stu, he got out of school and went to work with John Morrell Company and traveled and sold meat, and then he got on with all of that. Les Hanson was the man. He wasn't the best bass player, he wasn't the best mandolin player, he wasn't the best fiddle player, he wasn't the best guitar player, but he was the best vibraphone player or vibes player around. And also, speaking of that, I didn't, maybe I did include the violin, but Les and I were playing with the Prince brothers out at the country club, and Les had asked if he could bring his violin out, and he said yeah. And Bob asked him if what was the difference in a violin and a fiddle, and his answer was the case. One had a case and the other one didn't. But anyway, he brought it, and Dave Prince of the Prince Brothers was about to sing As Time Goes By, and he got on through there about must have been starting on the bridge, and the horns had played some backup for the first part. When we got to the bridge, then he started, and Les broke in with the violin, and David almost had to stop. He was crying. It was so pretty. It was Les had a feeling that most musicians do not have. He had a lot of soul. But shortly after that, I developed an ulcer, and the doctor devised a treatment of not eating anything, and it was a progressive bland diet, and he started me off with half and half, and I could drink 2 or 3 ounces of half and half about every 30 minutes and eat nothing. Well, I did that for, I don't know, maybe about 6 weeks, went through Thanksgiving and Christmas with all those good groceries around, and then I progressed to where I could eat a couple of saltines, and then he said you can have a baked potato with nothing on it. So I stopped by one of those Sizzlers and ordered baked potato, and most of their baked potatoes was about 6 inches long and about 4 inches in circumference. I ordered 2 of them took one bite, and that was it. I hadn't had anything in so long. Well, the next week after that, I went to Tallahassee to a series of meetings, and I had asked the doctor if I got near a cocktail party, if I could drink. He said no, said you can drink a little bit of scotch with your half and half, because scotch doesn't have some of the things that the other liquors have. So I got in there that night, and I asked the guy, the bartender, I said, you having a half and half? He said, yeah. So I drank a little bit, and then things got rather festive there, and I said, well, give me a shot of scotch with the half and half on the side. So we did that. I took a little taste of the milk and then a little sip of the scotch. Well, after about two of them, I kept wanting to wear something plaid. And then it rocked on, I guess, about 10 o'clock. The band sounded like bagpipes. And then about 12 o'clock, I saw the Loch Ness Monster. And I proceeded to go to bed.